Good morning, everyone. And I gotta say a word about Eddie. The feeling is mutual. I hate you too. I was supposed to be batting third, and here I am leading off. All right. Nonetheless, it's great to be here, great to be with all of you. And I'm going to talk about it. One of three deserving Hall of Fame candidates. All righty, let's see if I'm doing this right. I'm not. Okay. Just there, right here. Okay, got it. All right. Before I begin almost any talk these days, I like to reference this point that we are among the last victims of the segregation of baseball. And this has never been more clear to me than in the past week, because there are about 1/3 of the world is strong supporters, and the other 1/3, I think, gets it. You know, what's going on now with the statistics. But the other 1/3 is the biggest victim here, and that's why we're here. We need to help that as much as we might not be in agreement with anything they have to say, we're here to help educate those that need it most. Okay. I've been campaigning for rap for the Hall of Fame since 1988. So this is just another day at the office. I do want to ask, though, could I have a hands raised of people who never heard of Rap Dixon? Wow. Thank you very much. So the word is getting out there, and I appreciate that. Okay. Now, what makes a Hall of Famer? The hall itself educates its voters and tells them their voting should be based on record and ability, integrity, sportsmanship, character, and contributions to the game. I'm going to focus on record, and I'm going to do that through statistics, opinions, and legends. And who am I going to bring out to help me with the statistics but John J. McGraw, the winningest manager in the history of the National League. And he knows a little bit about talent, and it's ironic, I don't think he knew the first statistic of Rap Dixon, but he saw him play in the winter of 25-26. And this is what the Harrisburg paper of February 2nd, 1926 had to say about McGraw's view. Rap Dixon is, without question, one of the greatest outfielders in the United States today. Now, what that means, I don't know. I asked a few friends, and I really didn't get any kind of consensus. But I think it means he's among the 10 best outfielders. I think that's a reasonable, statement. And I think it means he has 5 tools. So we're going to hold Rap to that fire. Can he hit? Oh, one thing too. I'm sure Kevin's in the audience. When I spoke last week at the symposium, this data was up to date. It no longer is. Seamheads has updated their data, I think, effective May 31st. I spoke on May 30th. So I was good then, but bad today. But it doesn't change Rap's position. Oh, yes, it does. Let's stick with these numbers, but George Scales is now ahead of Rap in both OPS and runs created per 27 outs. But Dixon is number 1 as of my last talk, and his number actually, ironically, went up. He's now 945 with his on-base plus slugging. His OPS plus remained the same, and it is number 1. And his runs created for 27, I think, went up a bit, but he's now number 2. Could he hit with power? Well, using 4 statistics, he's number 1 in all 4. His slugging percentage is the highest of all Negro League players in the Seamheads database with 2,500 or more plate appearances. He's the only player in the Seamheads database that has more than 20 homers per 162 that bat 2,500 times. And then his isolated power and his home run percentage are also number one. Could he run? This one's a little more difficult. He runs the bases in Japan in 1927 in 14.02 seconds. I don't think anyone else tops that among the candidates with 2,500 or more at-bats, but I really don't have a good measure for, he's the only guy, except a couple others that aren't in that list, that beat 14.02 in the Negro Leagues. So what I did, I took 3 speed affected stats: runs scored per game, triples per game, and stolen bases per game. I put them in rank order, and then I summed their ranks, and Rapp has the lowest at end, I guess, of the 43 or so players that batted 2,500 times. Rapp was second in runs scored, fifth in triples, and tied for fourth with Clint Thomas in stolen bases per game. So I think he's pretty fast. He's certainly number one in my methodology, but that's, there's several other methodologies for measuring speed. Okay, so that was it for the offensive numbers. Although we still got a Seamheads change coming up. So the question is, can he field? There's 3 metrics in Seamheads: fielding percentage, range factor, and runs saved by arm. And they provide that for left field, center field, and right field. So the best, I give everyone a point every time they're better than average. So the highest possible score would be 3 in left, 3 in center, and 3 in right. 9. There's only one outfielder that played 10 or more games in each of those positions to score a 9. And that's Rapp Dixon. So without question, he can field. What I have listed here are the Hall of Famers, just to give you an idea of how that 9 compares to the Hall. And you see Oscar Charleston, he's better than average in 7 of those 9 measures. The average Hall of Fame outfielder is almost better than average in 5. And again, this is among about 750 outfielders in the Seamheads database. The last one, and this breaks my heart, this is Rapp's greatest strength: runs saved by arm. You simply sum the runs saved by arm in each of the 3 positions, and he's roughly 29% ahead of Jap Payne. And that was enough to keep him ahead of Jap with these updates in statistics. However, Vic Harris is now ahead of Rapp in arm. Now that's a much longer career. This is a additive counting stat, but nonetheless, Rapp now is second in the Seamheads database. I think that's it for the stats. So that wasn't too bad, I hope. Now we're going to look at opinions. And whose opinion would you want? I think let's talk to the first 3 outfielders put into the Hall of Fame from the Negro Leagues. The first one in is Monty Irvin, then Cool, and then finally Oscar Charleston. This is first the opinion of the Hall, and this is how I interpret the Hall's opinion. But there was a ballot created in 1971. There were at least 2 other ballots in 94 and 95. I looked to Stephen Green for the 94 ballot. I got that from his book. And the 95 ballot was given to me by an insider whom I can't name. But, and then of course the 2006 ballot was public information. There's only 12 outfielders on those 4 ballots. I'm counting Vic Harris as a manager. So of those 12 outfielders, 7 have gotten in the Hall. That's on the left: Monty Irvin, Cool Papa Bell, Oscar Charleston, Turkey Stearns, Pete Hill, Cristobal Torriente, and Willard Brown. That leaves 5 on the ballot. Now, I haven't broken this tie because the Hall did not disclose the voting results in 06. And despite Buck O'Neill supposedly missing by 1 or Spotswood polls missing by 1, I think that's more speculation, but I can be corrected on that. But Rap Dixon, Roy Parnell, Alejandro Olms, Fats Jenkins, and Spotswood polls remain on that ballot. In my opinion, they should be considered first. We've had a lot of sabermetrics since then. There are definitely other outfielders that challenge that position. Okay, one by one. Monte Irvin, in this lovely book written with Jim Riley, he ranks 8 outfielders near the end of his book. Nice guys finish first. And this is the order he puts them in. Oscar Charleston 1, Cool Papa Bell 2, Turkey Stearns, interestingly, this is before he goes in. So Monty got this one right because 4 years after the publication of the book, Stearns goes in. Then it's Wild Bill Wright, a contemporary of Monty's, a good friend of Monty's, and he puts him 4th overall and 1st among those yet to be inducted. And then it's my friend Rap, Monte Irvin, who may have saw Rap play with Brooklyn in 35, I believe. And he could have saw him play with the Cubans that year too. But he doesn't really, I think he says that he didn't see him play. He's influenced by Biz Mackey and Rap and Leon Day. But he puts Rap 5th and 2nd among those eligible and not in. Cool Papa, he cheats a little bit. He puts Charleston at 1st over Buck Leonard. This is in this marvelous book, The Greatest Team of All Time. So that enables him to name 4 outfielders. So interpreting Cool, he puts all 4 of those guys in the top 4. He doesn't rank them. And Rap Dixon is the only one of those 4 not in the Hall. So he's saying Rap Dixon in his 1994 book is the most deserving outfielder yet to be inducted. But then here's the one that I really like. In 1949, the Philadelphia Evening Bulletin interviews Oscar Charleston. And Charleston names his all-time outfield to be in left, Martin Dihigo, in right, Cristobal Torriente, and then in his old position, center field, Rap Dixon. Now, that's quite a statement. One thing, you don't have to be a linguist or anything to understand, he's saying the greatest African-American outfielder he ever saw was Rap Dixon, because Dihigo and Torriente are Afro-Cuban. He's also, both Dihigo and Torriente play a higher percentage of their games in center field, outfield games, that is, than Rap does. Charleston's position was center, and despite the fact that the other 2, again, played a higher proportion of their games in center, he puts Rap in center field. I interpret this as Charleston, and during their careers, he comes to Harrisburg to play, in part due to Rap Dixon and Fats Jenkins. We're going to see, let me shut up. We're going to see a legend that adds to this. Charleston, throughout his career, made clear that he really thought Rap was something special. Okay, now we got legends. I wonder what Hall of Famer I'm going to use to cover the legends. You're stuck with me. All right. Now, you all have a handout for a reason. Someone's going to stop me in another couple minutes. Please do. I want to keep this thing moving. But you all have his legends. Let's see how many I can get through. Is Beth here? Yeah, she is. This wonderful portrait she did, the greatest outfield. And that's Fats Jenkins on the left, Oscar Charleston in center, Rap Dixon. Hopefully, we all remember, I pointed out, the Hall has 12 outfielders on their ballots. This is the only outfield of any real tenure that includes 3 outfielders from those 12. It's clearly the greatest, I think, Negro League outfielder of all time. I would argue it's the greatest anywhere in the segregated era. Aha, okay. Rapp goes to Japan in 1927, and he shows off all 5 of those tools. Here he is. This is a cartoon Kaz Sayama sent to me. And this is Rapp pitching balls over the outfield fence. And that's reported in the Hawaiian papers when he gets to Hawaii on his way home. He runs the bases in 14 seconds. He hits a ball farther than anyone ever did in Koshien Stadium, where the fans mark that place, and it lasts as long as the stadium itself lasts. This is one of his legends, but here's a picture. It's true. Emperor Hirohito gave Rapp a trophy. You see it here. What more proof could you want? This is a legend. This is a legend, although family members, and particularly India, Rapp's great niece, says that trophy, as seen here, was in the family for years. And another player, Syke Burnett, told me that he saw the trophy. It wasn't this. It wasn't a loving cup. It was a statue, maybe 6 inches tall, of a baseball player encrusted in jewels. Now, nobody I know has seen that, but a 90-year-old gentleman told me he saw it. All right, now it's Rapp's prime. I hope I can get through these next 4 slides. 1 minute. Okay, this will be it then. In 1929, Rapp cracks 14 consecutive hits. I'm not sure it's going to hold water. Good folks at Seamheads and elsewhere are going to be looking at it. He reached base 16 straight times. Ted Williams tied that in 1958. Then we move on to the house that Ruth built. Babe Ruth hit the first home run in April 1930. Rapp hit the first home run by an African American in Yankee Stadium. Okay, I think 1 more slide and I'm going to wrap it. And this is one of his best. On August 6, 1930, Rapp Dixon cracked 4 triples in 1 game in Montgomery, Alabama, in a league game. No one else has done that since 1897 in the majors. All right, who's showing me the time? I'm done. Thank you very much.